Hello, people of the world. Is my microphone too loud? No. Okay. So, I wanted to I was studying, I'm like, alright, let's go over why the market moves the way it does and really understand it, because my mentor has been going over lately, like, to really become profitable and stay consistent, you have to look at market condition. You got to treat it like a full-time job, man. You cannot be just like mechanical with it, like, oh, liquidity sweep, blah, blah, blah. It's not always going to work. Like, what works here is not going to work here, you know? So, what can we do, right? We got to go back. We got to look at why why are we edging highs? Why are we edging lows? When are we going to take the lows? When are we not going to take the lows? Stuff like that. And now, while the reasoning can be like not true, as in fair value gaps, are they a real thing? I don't know. It's just a pattern that happens to happen a lot, and under the right circumstances, they can help you, get a general idea. So, let's go over it, shall we? Oh, I already don't want to do this. Wow. So, let's start on ES, right? So, come over here. Boom. So, what do we know? Here, we're going to all-time high, right? We're at all-time high. We finally get a little retrace. We go back up, and then from here we sell off, right? Now here, we start rejecting this low. It's like, okay. So, we're really bullish. We're at the most bullish point of price, chances are we want to go to all-time high. You want to stay bullish, right? Does this confirm lower? Yes, if we respect this low and then disrespect this high, right? What do? We end up tapping this daily gap. Now, in this circumstance, this daily gap can hold really well and give us an opportunity to be like, okay, we're probably going to short down to like this low, maybe into whatever, probably weekly gap. Yeah, we had a weekly gap, stuff like that. Anyways, so it's just like more so like just reading the market, So, what do we have? So we have that. We tap this. From there, we come all the way down here, right? And then we get a huge rejection. So we tried to go lower. We were all the way down here and we couldn't. Okay. Now on NASDAQ, what did we do? Over here, same thing. We tap this daily gap. We come all the way down and we fail. From there, um, from there, what do we see? We come back down. We disrespect the low here, but we don't disrespect the low here. Now, this is where an SMT can be like useful in the sense it's a possible point of reversal because we have confirmed lower, right? And like it's like, okay, we probably want to go lower. We go lower, we make a low, we break the low. We make another low, we break the low. We've confirmed bearish structure. Now, with that, this low should break and we should push lower. What do? We make an SMT off of that, right? And overall, scaling up to the more powerful time frames on the weekly, we can see, okay, we retested a weekly fair value gap and now we're pushing out of it again. So chances are we're probably bullish. And now this puts us in a scenario where it's like, okay, overall we're probably bullish, but why are we doing that? From here we can already be like, okay, we could be optimistic and be like, okay, we're probably going to rip to all-time high. Or we could be realistic and be like, okay, we push to all-time high. We kind of push up, we make equal highs again, and then we start edging it, like we come all the way up here and we don't hit it. So from there, with this, it's not confirmed we're going to start ranging, but after something like this, we are probably going to range. Like we need time to range. That's just what we do, right? We get this huge push up, we chop, chop, chop. Push up, chop, 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 I finally get a retrace, push higher. So we're probably going to chop, 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 push down, or we could just push up. We don't know. So from here, what do we have? We have, I'm like low-key hot. Shit. So we get that SMT. So from there, we can be like, okay, we retested a weekly fair value gap. The higher time frames, the weekly and the monthly, are more bullish than they have ever been. So from there, we can assume we are going to go higher. How high? We don't know, right? So up until here, we're probably pretty bullish. You want to be weary of this, like gap area, and then especially, like this whole area right here, just because this is like high resistance area. We've struggled here before. This is where we push down. Chances are we'll push down again. What happens? We start to show signs of ranging, right? This is when we get our first deep pullback. And from here, this is when we're like, okay, Now we're moving weird. We're moving in a range away. We're getting deep retraces. And now from here, we're like, okay, are we just going to go back down to the lows? Or are we going to push lower? No, we push lower. We push up again, respect the high again, and then we disrespect that low. And then from there, we push down even further, but then we respect this low, okay? So now, this is how you start getting, like, the idea of, okay, we're ranging. So, like, from this point, I'd say it's very confirmed we're ranging. You could even confirm it up here, like, we're ranging. But then once we push down here and then flip up, it's like, okay, we're really ranging higher time frame. This is expected, but, you know, whatever. And then here we could see we make an SMT off a daily gap, and from there we do get a nice little push down, but again, we respect the low. And now we start moving up again. And then we get to like current day, where we are really ranging on NASDAQ. We're failing to take out every single high, right? We're just stacking highs, while ES, we're stacking lows, you know? And then on NASDAQ, we're kind of respecting lows, respecting, disrespect, come down, disrespect. But this is where we get to the context part of fair value gaps and everything, right? So from here, we're respecting all of the highs. And now we're at a point where we have pushed up higher. We've pushed up higher. We've pushed up higher. We've pushed up higher. And then we get this candle. This candle, while we could very well flip up, coming into the day on this day, we push down lower. And now this is a monthly fair value gap. Right? Hang on. Let me take off my... Alright, bro. Fuck you talking about, cuh? Anyways. So now, once we're here, we can assume that, yes, once we're here, it's like, okay, this area is... Hang on. We'll start here. This will make more sense. So this area here, lower, right? We have all of this, right? This is like the choppy range. We could push very high, very low, you know. It's all just using the daily and the 4 hour here, using, okay, we push down here, chances are we're gonna flip back up. Okay, we pushed up here, probably gonna push down. Now we're down here, we're probably gonna push up, right? And now we're in the middle. You don't want to trade, you know, because then we could go down or up, so you don't want to trade. Now we're at the top of the range, you want to trade down, right? And now it's like, okay, we're at the bottom of the range. You probably don't want to trade down, but that's where this scenario comes in, where it's like we have, on ES, we have this area right here, right? So this is like what I have been calling the really high resistance. Here it's like, okay, you probably don't want to short, but now it's here, it's like, okay, this is the really high resistance, you know. This is where we've pushed down and reject hard. Push down, reject really hard, right? And now that we're back in this, we can assume we might reject hard. Sorry. Alright, so this is like the high resistance, you know. This is where we have been rejecting very hard, and this is definitely where you don't want to be shorting, right? Same here. It's like, this is where we've rejected very hard, so you can assume like this whole area. But the context is we have a monthly gap. We closed here. Overnight, we pushed down. Chances are we're going to go to the monthly gap. Now, once we're in this monthly gap, we make an SMT off of it. ES is more bullish, and we push off of it, right? So we tap this. Now, this is like the red zone now, you know? This, like, from a bullish perspective, now this is like the red zone. You know, it's like, for here, I'd say it's like this whole area. Sorry, I don't know why it's way over there. Like this whole area right here, right? You do not want to be shorting. Same here, like up to here. You do not want to be shorting at all. That's like playing Russian roulette, but it's like you got three bullets in the chamber, you know? Because go on over to the monthly, go back and look at every time we've tapped a monthly gap. We tap it, we rip up, right? Like every time you tap it, right? We get a reaction, and then we get a bigger reaction, right? Like every time. There hasn't been that many, but if you go look, every single time we've tapped one, we get a crazy reaction out of it. So you definitely do not want to be shorting. You don't want to be caught off of sides either. So unless the long is given, don't, right? So now, flipping to a bullish perspective, it's like, where do you want to be long, right? Since this is recent, we could scale down to the 4 hour. Let's go ahead and go like this real quick. Clear this up a bit. So this, yes, we tapped a monthly gap, you probably don't want to be longing into it like crazy, you know. We have a 4-hour gap, which we reacted out of. But this is where we could start to use overnight to our advantage. Yes, overnight didn't happen. Market opened like 3 hours ago. But, right, so we put in this low, right? This really, really strong low. Okay, so let me delete that. We put in this low inside of a monthly fair value gap. Then we put in this high right here. Put in this high, put in this low, right? Very, very high resistance low, I'd say, right? And then you can see we even open up way down here and we're pushing up. We don't want to go to it. NASDAQ seems to be more bullish right now. And then this is the high that can like decide our fate pretty much, you know? If we come up to this high and edge it or wick it and then flip lower and disrespect the high, it's like, okay, we might go lower, but do you want to be shorting in a monthly fair value gap? Probably not. You know, that's where you just, okay, I guess I won't be trading. Whereas now if we're gonna like rip up past it here, it's like, okay, maybe we could start long. And then like on the 4 hour, we could understand, okay, this was a push down to get like to not break out of the range, but to grab all the liquidity of the range, grab it, right? Pushing us down into this area where we can generate so many orders. Same on ES, right? We're staying more bullish. So we can assume ES will be more bullish, right? We made that SMT because overall the structure here is showing us we want to go higher. We really do. It's just a struggle after that huge push up we had. And then here we push down, we grab the liquidity. So by the way, I'm not saying this like it's a set answer. This is just my reasoning and what I'm like taking away from it. This is to help me. This is like me just talking out loud, studying to help myself. If you guys could take something away from it, cool. So now that we touch that, it's like, okay, ideally we want to see us break this low, but you don't want to predict, right? So let's say we do break this low. From there, now that we understand the 4 hour, it was a push down to grab liquidity, push down to help grab liquidity, made an SMT showing that we probably still want to go higher. We tap this monthly gap. Now we can scale down to the hourly because we understand, right? And from here, sorry, we can see we are in bullish structure. Yeah, it's kind of wonky, but we are. We come down, we create a higher high, low, or not really the lower low, but you know, like you see the structure, right? On the line chart, we're bullish, you know. Here, we made a SMT, right? So from here, we can assume NASDAQ might be more bullish. But really, we got to see what happens overnight. You don't want to predict. We got to see how we're moving, reason with it, understand why everything is happening, come to our own terms, make sense of it ourselves, and then we could go lower. We could look for trades and stuff. You know, you got to understand a time frame before you go lower. But yeah, just with how we've been moving, you know, really deep retraces, sweeping a low, edging a low, flipping up. Chances are we are going to flip up. You know, what are the odds that during this whole range, not only every time we take a low or get close to a low, we flip back up. On top of that, we tapped a monthly gap, we don't flip up. Probably pretty low. Now tomorrow could very well be a day of just like chopping, finding orders, finding liquidity. But overall, we just wanna be in tune with the market, be there ready to take opportunities it gives us, but not predicting, not getting caught off sides, and being reasonable. You know, would it be reasonable to be like, oh, tomorrow we're just gonna fucking rip to all-time high? No. No, it's not reasonable. Would it be reasonable to like, if overnight we end up here and we get a little retrace, to then be like, okay, we might end up pushing up to, let's say, let's go to the daily, like we might push up to that 0.79 mark, you know? Yeah, that's pretty reasonable, you know? That gives us the leniency to be like, okay, we're playing the long off of the monthly gap, but we're also not being unreasonable, we're not being not realistic, we're still understanding we're in a range, right? And we know chances are once we get here, because this is a more bullish pair now, once we get here, we could very well flip lower, you know, sweep the low again, or flip back up. So overall, hello? Many interruptions. But yeah, that just gives us, we're playing both sides, you know, but overall, we probably want to flip up on both sides of the team. They want to go up, but we're not being unrealistic, you know? And again, you know, we are still very very bullish. And if you're looking at it from a monthly perspective, would it be wrong to say that this month is gonna close here? No, you could very well just chop here, right? But let's pretend we're on the 5 minute. We're more bullish than we've ever been. What would you expect from here? You probably expect us to, come here, make a gap, come down here, tap here, right? And then do we close here, 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 here? It doesn't matter. We could close wherever. Or we could just immediately flip up, we could have some crazy volume that we haven't had in a while. But, if you're just looking at it from the highest time frame available, which is the strongest time frame, what is the most reasonable thing to assume? We're going to continue higher, we just got this crazy push up. Chances are we're going to tap this gap and push up higher. On the weekly, it's like going down to the 1 minute and being like, okay, well, what do we have? We have a 1 minute SMT inside the 5 minute gap. Probably going to rip up, It's the same thing as that. Just these time frames are even stronger. So that's just something I gotta look for, stay on sides with the market, see how it is moving, and just not predict and just go with what it gives me. If we're here at the end of the night, I mean tomorrow morning, you might not want to trade. We could very well reverse. We could very well go up. You want to play the top or the bottom of the range. You want to be shorting here. You want to be longing here. Or you probably don't even want to be trading here. You want to be longing down here. You want to be shorting here. And then once we're down here, it's like, okay, we can long. We don't want to long all the way up to here. You want to long to like a reasonable point. So that being said, I'm gonna end it there. I hope what I said makes sense. It makes sense to me. I'm just really trying to understand what's going on. What's going on and shit. But overall, I'm gonna just really try working on understanding why stuff happens in the market, not coping, not being like, oh, it's a statistical loss, so I lost because it's bullshit. No. Why did it happen? What signs are there to show me it happened? How can I improve from this? How can I keep winning every day? How can I be a winner? But yeah, I'm gonna end it here. Trading tomorrow, boy. I'm ready. Probably, well, I'm not even gonna go into it saying probably not gonna take anything. I don't know. We'll see in the morning. Dude, that looks so weird. If I pull my shoulders down and go, ew, bro. Ew, did you? Look. Wait, hold on. Pull down. Yo, what's up, guys? Alright, I'm being gay now. Goodbye.